X-rated films are controversial and rare, with X-rated animated films being even more so. Only a handful exist. Fritz the Cat, Heavy Traffic, and Cleopatra, to name a few. Well, I was gonna say a few. It's kind of the majority of them. And Cleopatra is more of a technicality, since it was never properly submitted to the MPAA. But there is one X-rated animated film that I've never talked about, and most people probably have never heard of before. TARZOON, Shame of the Jungle. A name that out the gate introduces itself so accurately.
And every white woman understands, only too well.
Is that it? That was it, huh? Well, I suppose that's it for another 3 months, you muscle-bound fruit bar.
Warning, folks, this one does not hold its punches and absolutely deserved its X rating. There are moments in this movie that would be considered shocking and brutal, even by the edgiest fan of internet dark humor today. It got to the point where I had to look away, especially for one scene in particular that was very disturbing. I can't show it. All right, there you go. You got your content warning. Moving on. TARZOON, Shame of the Jungle was essentially an X-rated satire of Tarzoon, King of the Jungle. It made some waves when it entered the United States in the late 1970s and claimed the title of the first foreign animated film to receive an X rating. A prestigious mantle, no doubt. But the film was ultimately a failure in the long run and was riddled with humor that was vulgar, offensive, and extremely controversial.
White man call me an iron bird. Kill Simba with fire stick. Make Chief Mbulu member UN Security Council.
But here's the thing. I have a morbid fascination when it comes to examining X-rated animated films. Nowadays, they are extinct. They've been extinct for a while now, since the rating itself was set to pasture many years ago. So the handful that we got are the only ones that will ever exist in history. For me, it's a bit of an autopsy. Why was TARZOON made? What was it even about? How did it utilize its X rating? And how hard does this film actually go? Spoiler alert, very hard. And yes, that is a double entendre.
You dumb jerk-off. Judging from the size of your cock, I'd say you were raised by the hamsters.
There was also this interesting court case that surrounded this film, with the angle being whether or not it could pass or survive on the basis of being a parody, which was, pretty wild at the time. Like, it was the equivalent of YouTube saying, it's not fair use enough. Actually, I don't even know if fair use was a thing at that point. So yeah, I actually have genuine conviction to examine this film and its artistic merit or lack thereof. Hey YouTube, brother, don't demonetize me. I'm trying my best. This is about the art. You know what? Actually, screw YouTube. This video is brought to you by Vessi.
He gets shit kicked out of him.
Guess what these are? Cool-ass shoes is what they are. But to be more specific, they are my weekend sneakers from Vessi. Though, shh, don't tell them I wear them on the weekdays too. Ooh, they'll chop off my feet. What's wrong with me?
Off with his feet.
I freaking love these shoes. Vessi is like the king when it comes to providing the most comfortable and hassle-free shoe for everyday travel. Are you going to the store? Are you going on a walk? Are you going to work? Are you hanging out with friends? Well, I just slip on my weekend sneakers and off I go. Easy as that. Look at them. I said, look at them. They're comfortable, they're lightweight, they're breathable. Not to mention that Vessis are 100% waterproof. A stupid puddle or a hose. What do I do? Nothing. That's what. The water just comes right off. My socks are dry. You wanna know why? Because Vessis are made of Dymatex, just a dual climate knit material that keeps you cool in the summer and warm in the colder weather. So yeah, I highly recommend Vessis. They are my go-to shoes by the door. I wear them every day. Check out the Vessi styles available at vessi.com/SABERSPARK and use code SABERSPARK for 15% off your order. Don't wait too long to grab your favorite Vessi shoes. Go hit them up today. All right, without further ado, let's swing into it. Just make sure that you grab a vine and not something else. So, who are the crazy asses behind the creation of TARZOON? Well, the movie itself is of French and Belgian origin and was directed by Jean-Paul Pika. All ravens. Pika? Like Pikachu? I'm not even joking. I'm not even fronting. And you also got Boris Scholzinger. Originally, it was a 15-minute pilot that was shown at the 1974 Cannes Film Festival, and the film had finished running by September 1975 in that format. However, in 1978, the film was imported to the United States by International Harmony and Stuart S. Shapiro. The year after it started running in France, the estate of Edgar Rice Burroughs, Edgar being the guy who created Tarzan, sued the producer of TARZOON and 20th Century Fox, the film's distributor in France, for alleged plagiarism. The estate at that time lost the case after the French court determined the film was a legitimate parody. And honestly, good for them. Glad to know that France supports the right to turn classic characters into horny idiots. Kind of a convergence if you think about it. While the film secured a win at the start, its luck ran out when it made its way over to the States, both in a legal sense and financially. You know what? Critically too. Shapiro recalls telling Customs that the film was a work in progress when it arrived, and it was in the process of being edited to be suitable for a theatrical release in the US, with most theaters rejecting the X-rated version of the film. Tarzan ended up making a profit in San Francisco. You know, that kind of makes sense, but was largely unsuccessful in other towns. Much of its success was credited to International Harmony's ad campaign created by writer Edwin Heaven, who, similar to Cinemation with Fritz the Cat, used the film's disadvantage, being the X rating, to its marketing advantage. They put their resources and energy into radio ads and giant posters plastered all over San Francisco that proclaimed, "You're going to laugh your X off," which was, in San Fran, semi-effective, but not to the degree to which the marketing was hoping. The film was eventually re-edited and dubbed. And after several changes, the distributor persuaded the MPAA to change the film's rating to an R. This version of the film featured new dialogue, written by Michael O'Donoghue of Saturday Night Live, and also included the voices of several notable actors and comedians, such as John Belushi, Adolph Caesar, Brian Dole Murray, Judy Gerbart, Bill Murray, and John Westmoreland Jr. Despite the effort to pivot and market the movie with a new coat of paint, the Burroughs estate was back for revenge and filed another lawsuit demanding that the name of the film be changed when their lawyer found a New York State statute covering dissolution of trademark. They argued, quote, Tarzan was a wholesome trademark and that the current product degraded the character's name, end quote. A judge ruled in favor of the Burroughs and forced Tarzoon to shorten its name to Shame of the Jungle, with the movie editing out the name as well in its cut. According to Shapiro, this version of the film did not do as well at the box office, since audiences were attracted to the Tarzoon name, which makes sense. You know, it's a parody after all. According to an article from the Chronicle Telegram of Ohio in September of 1978, it said, quote, Edgar Rice Burroughs, Inc. said in a complaint filed Tuesday in the U.S. District Court in Manhattan that the film depicts Tarzan not as Burroughs saw him, handsome, strong, intelligent, courageous, honest, but as weak, stupid, physically unattractive, cowardly, lewd, and sexually inadequate. Off the record, you know, it's kind of funny. Hey, my fictional character is a lot hotter than yours. How dare you? Jane, from the complaint, said that the character is not depicted as beautiful, faithful, and brave, but as aggressive, sexually demanding, strident, and nude for substantial portions of time. This is a grotesque, distasteful, and vulgar film.
Not now, Fuzznuts.
Animality.
Yeah, so this was enough to convince the courts to step in, which is absolutely ridiculous. Like, imagine the estate that owns Beauty and the Beast breathing over the shoulder of Disney animators, being like, Gaston, why are you making him so dumb? Make him hotter and less dumb, please. Yeah, you know what? How about you go suck a dozen eggs?
When I was a lad, I ate 4 dozen eggs every morning to help me get large.
The R-rated version of the movie got bashed critically, with people saying it was crude and uncomfortable, which, you know, hey, is kind of true, with only like Playboy magazine giving the movie props. Geez, I wonder why. There's an article from Q Network author James Kendrick, where he had a fair assessment of the film at the time. He said, quote, Shame of the Jungle is a crude but harmless comedy that went out of its way to be politically incorrect, long before that phrase held any meaning, using body and often blunt humor. It ridicules male-female relationships, sexual mores, the white man's burden, and notions of Africa as an ancient mystical wonderland, yet to be tamed by civilization. End quote. And oh, does the intro for this movie make that abundantly clear right out the gate with how it dunks on Africa and sees it.
Africa, home of the fierce Tungala warriors who have no word for mercy, or wheel, or calendar, or disinfectant, or light bulb, printing press, steam engine, fork, can opener, telescope, toilet paper. Slow down, you're rolling it too fast. I can't read it if you roll it so fast.
Blah, 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 Africa. So, what is this movie about? For the record, I'm going to have to heavily censor and honestly omit a good chunk of context for this film. Now, I'll try my best to explain stuff, but there are moments that would break YouTube's terms of service if I relayed the movie unfiltered. Cool, YouTube. What a fun platform. I love walking on eggshells. Also, I'm admittedly concerned about the version of the movie that I'm reviewing. Let me explain. I tried to verify if this particular version is the X-rated version, and I'm pretty sure it is, even though it is the English sub. Like, I overlaid the visuals of the French version onto the American version, and they were identical. Also, I could not find a French version with English subtitles, so yeah, hopefully this is the X-rated version and not the R-rated one, because I would look pretty damn silly if that was the case. And you know what? If I am mistaken, let me know in the comments so I can suffer again with another upload. All right, let's do this.
What the devil do you think you're doing? Is this the sort of impression of civilized beings we want to give Mr. Shame?
Shut up, you old fart.
So the film starts with this opening crawl that just really sets the tone with how offensive this movie is going to be. Just dunking on Africa being only good for gold, ivory, diamonds, and blood. Even the shape of the continent should give you an idea of how these writers viewed the subject matter. Within 5 minutes of the movie starting, we witness casual racist depictions and assault of a particular persuasion involving a mosquito and a fly. A truly cutting-edge social commentary. After some more gags and crude jokes, we meet Queen Bazanga, our villain who wants to take over the world. But hey, she needs hair before she launches her conquest, and just decides to get the hair of June, Shame's woman. Again, not TARZOON, not Tarzan, Shame.
But that's June.
That's just in there by mistake, Your Majesty.
June? Who's June?
The maid of Shame.
He's the king of the jungle, Your Majesty.
That's his name, Shame. I'll admit it. The voice acting is pretty damn good, and the dialogue was better than expected. Plus, the animation is solid and demonstrates genuine talent and effort. But it is the writing, always the writing, that is the problem. Witty banter with competent visuals can only take you so far. That leads us to Shame getting shamed by June and their suburban jungle home. Why? Because the poor guy can't keep it up.
Invert, cross-dresser, schmuck, nerd, sissy, bedwetter. Give my regards to your psychiatrist.
June is presented as this woman who is supremely dissatisfied with her man and berates him constantly. He isn't good enough. She finds other ways to find fulfillment that I can't show here on YouTube. Use your imagination. And by the way, I'm definitely getting some ever-ready hard-on vibes from this movie. There's some more racism, a little more racism. Just kidding. A lot more racism. And then Shame swings on the vine while his monkey friend uses... yeah. Editors, just censor everything. Just everything. The entire video is just Gaussian blur. We can't even look at it. Wait, except for this one scene here where you got like 1010 as a missionary beating up Africans, which is like, it's kind of funny actually what it's saying about 1010 and the actual kind of guy that he is. Or is it funny? I don't know. Maybe I should stop watching this movie. So, June gets kidnapped by dick soldiers? And Shame takes off to save her. We see a group of explorers looking for Shame, with a professor, an angry white guy, another person is a gun for hire, I guess, and then this girl. The professor here actually cracked me up with this fourth wall breaking joke. Gotta give props to that. Caught me off guard. A pretty damn good laugh.
Africa, home of the Wazoo, a barbaric tribe whose grim masks fan the flames of fear. Slow down, you're rolling it too fast. And I can't read it if you roll it so fast.
Shame then gets captured, but then a bunch of, I don't know what these are. I have no idea. A bunch of some things start eating the humans and explorers and then try to eat Shame, though he escapes on some flying carpet with birds and this guy drinking beer. Not sure if this is a reference to something. Probably is. I don't care.
Hey, you only go around once, the life guy grab for all the gusto you can get, you know?
Shame then finds the evil lair and discovers a bunch of dicks. Literally, I can't even really show you the scene. I can't show it at all. Just a bunch of dicks wearing German World War II helmets. I can't say the word, by the way. You know what I'm getting at. And marching around in formation of, again, a particular persuasion that if I said the word would probably violate YouTube's terms of service to this goofy song. It is a lot. And again, I wish I could say and show more, but I can't. My hands are tied because this video will get blocked if I did. At the end, the villain tries to hook up with Shame. He rejects her. She doesn't like that. And then, oh my God, what am I looking at? I can't even show you. You don't want to know. Trust me, you don't want to know what the actual hell. And then Shame saves June, who finally appreciates her man. And that's it. That incredibly thin plot is the movie. The moral of the movie is probably that men are horny and dumb and women are sexual but unsatisfied. You know, honestly, I'm kind of surprised how little slut-shaming there was, but the women in the movie are mostly dunking on the guys. Possibly a degradation fetish in disguise? Maybe. Though there was a fourth wall-breaking joke about a character going down on the producer in order to get into the film.
I'm only in this cartoon because I blew the producer.
Unsurprisingly, the movie is mostly cruel and vulgar humor. There's lots of violence for the sake of violence, or sex for the sake of sex. Right down to the backgrounds with sexual imagery. Can't show it, use your imagination. Now, there are some funny moments that aren't sex-related, but they are few and far between. This line about Looney Tunes actually got a pretty good laugh out of me. Like just knowing that the animators who worked on this film grew up with Looney Tunes, were inspired by Looney Tunes, and are, quite frankly, doing the opposite of Looney Tunes.
Do you think Looney Tunes would hire us?
I doubt it.
How about Hanna-Barbera?
But this movie, at its core, is a spectacle. And I do not mean that as a compliment. It tries to be a parody of Tarzan, but in the most surface-level way possible, via crude humor. Need a joke? More dicks. Need more jokes? Hey, more dicks. What problem can't be solved with more dicks? Apparently, making a good movie. Overall, Tarzoon: Shame of the Jungle is unsurprisingly a hot mess. It's absolutely a product of its time, and one that leaned heavily onto its novelty X rating. Now, did they use the X rating to enhance its story? No. Did they use the rating to be more than just a vulgar snuff film? No. Fritz the Cat was more memorable and genuine in that degree with its X rating, while Tarzoon here was just lowbrow and primarily relied on doing dirty stuff just because it could. That being said though, I'm still fascinated by the mere existence of this movie. Like, we don't have to masquerade around like this is some high art. They wanted to see how far they could push the line of making a dirty parody of Tarzan and doing something that was considered very taboo at the time. And hey, even to this day, artists like to get creative. They like to explore different avenues. And you better believe sex was a primary contender that was sectioned off for decades. Now that it was on the table, they could exercise a genre of animation that was far more expressive than a Hanna-Barbera cartoon. In that regard, I don't fault the artists who made this movie and how they probably enjoyed such a rare creative opportunity. It's oddly kitsch to me in a twisted way, though I fully realize how little substance it actually has and the offensive nature of the film. Again, once more, a product of its time, no doubt, that is more fascinating on a production and cultural level rather than the film solely being judged on its own merit. The story is thin, the characters are living tropes, and the pacing can be excruciating. Again, that being said, there were some moments that had me laughing pretty hard, and the animation is pretty good. I like the watercolor backgrounds, and these character designs have some charm to them. Well, some of them do. Most of them are offensive. Also, the voice acting for the English dub is solid, with gags and jokes that gave me the occasional laugh. But that's not enough for an engaging movie.
Oh my God, he's dead. I've killed him. Oh, Jesus, let's get out of here. Oh my God, I didn't know you could kill a cartoon character. I just didn't know. I wouldn't have hit him if I thought that something like this could happen. Oh.
To me, what makes vulgar or mature humor interesting and meaningful is when there's conviction and sincerity backing it up. A message that is more than just sex. But vulgarity for the sake of vulgarity comes across as paper thin, grating to me, and it can get very distasteful very quickly, which was absolutely the case for TARZOON. I don't think there were any major moments where this film attempted to say anything profound, and if it did, it was overshadowed by piles of filth. There was like this one moment though, that I thought the film was trying to say something, trying to use its rating to weigh in on a singular idea. It was the maternity ward scene. Sadly, I can't show this uncensored, but I will try my best to describe it. Bunch of young males are crushed on this assembly line and are diminished down to their privates, which then turn anthropomorphic, march off into formation with their soldier helmets. I think that's enough for you to connect the dots. Thinking with their dicks as a metaphor? Yeah, you bet. Just strip them down to their core asset and get rid of the rest. Who needs it? Now, not everything needs to have this intrinsic message to be valuable, but it at least has to be funny or entertaining, or preferably both. I guess at the time, since cruelty and looking down on women and minorities was funny, they succeeded at it? Yeah? Well, the movie was a failure, so maybe not. But the jokes have aged poorly, and the majority of said jokes have no meaningful place in today's cultural landscape. But again, the most interesting thing about this movie isn't the movie itself, but the circumstances surrounding it. Like, I am all for looking for deeper meaning, and I'm sure this was pushing boundaries and social commentary at the time in like some way or another. But some of the offhanded jokes are the equivalent to like Revenge of the Nerds and Scary Movie. Both franchises with jokes that were acceptable at the time when said movies were released, but now are horribly dated.
Sorry, I didn't mean to say something gay. Abe! Okay, let me explain. When I said gay, I'm trying to say that it was the most dumb, stupid, horrible thing that you could ever imagine. Abe!
So, unless you are some weirdo like me who enjoys niche animation history, I would not recommend watching this movie. But you can at least observe it as a historical exhibit from the 1970s with boobs, racism, and lots and lots and lots of dicks. But hey, if you're on Twitter, you already get that stuff, so maybe it's derivative to watch the movie. Just stay on Twitter. Or not, quit it. It sucks.
Why am I doing all this, you ask? So I can spit on people. That's right. So I can spit on people.